So, good afternoon, y'all.
Afternoon.
My name is Tiffany Caban. I am your Democratic nominee in this district, in Council District 22.
We can clap for that. We should just clap for that.
And I just want to name the fact, because this doesn't get said enough, but this district, yes, it includes Astoria Houses, it includs Astoria, it includes parts of East Elmhurst, Woodside, Jackson Heights, but it also includes Rikers Island. And we got to remember that, right? Because all of this is connected to that as well. And it's an honor and a privilege to have our Senate Majority Leader here, Mr. Senator Chuck Schumer, right here in our district. But in all seriousness, we're also gathered here because our communities are hurting.
Yes,
that's right. Our loved ones are paying the ultimate price. And we're also here because we know the solutions. We know the solutions, we know what works, and if we're gonna reduce violence, if we're gonna save lives, it's gonna take all of us.
that's right.
Every single one of us. There needs to be a commitment, not just at every level of government, from our U.S. Senate Majority Leader all the way down to soon-to-be City Council members like Julie and I, but also a commitment to our neighbors, a commitment to allow the folks closest to our problems, experiencing the most pain the most acutely, to be driving and executing these solutions. So I'm grateful to be doing this work, building relationships with all the folks here to make sure that we can do that. And it is also an honor and a pleasure to kick off our program by introducing our U.S. Senate Majority Leader, Chuck Schumer.
Thank you, Tiffany. Well, listen, it is just inspiring to be here. People often ask me, well, you're the Majority Leader. Why you do? Because I learn and I grow. And hearing the presentations that have been made inspires me, because this is a community that has been given almost nothing. But the people who lived here said enough already. We're going to change things around. And Kay Bain, who has been a leader of this whole movement for 10, 15 years, 10, 15 years, is inspirational, but so are the people he empowers, who we've heard from here. And it's inspiring. It's what gets me going and gets me moving. So there is violence here, too much violence. But as has been said before, that's not just violence, it's a little isolated thing by itself. It's what bred that violence, whether it's lack of good housing or lack of food or lack of a community center where people can constructively. I know this personally. My father was an exterminator. We didn't have much. But I had the Madison High School Night Center every night. And instead of hanging out on the streets, I was in there. I let people know, Kay Bates heard me say this. We had a basketball team, I was on it. You know what our motto was? We may be small, but we're slow. But that helped steer me in the right direction. So we need to help. And the good news is, now that we have a Democratic president, a Democratic House, a Democratic Senate, we have an opportunity that we cannot miss. And in the Build Back Better budget is $5 billion for across the country, because as Kay Bain has said, you can't just isolate violence in one place, you have to deal with it comprehensively. There is to empower communities to involve themselves in community violence initiatives. And I say involve themselves for a reason. It's because we're not going to have some bureaucrat in Washington just tell people what you need, because they usually don't know. The folks here know what they need. I've been listening to them. And what we want to do is not only give them the resources, give folks the resources, but give them the flexibility so that they can craft those resources for what is needed most. Here, as Freedom has said, one of the things that they clearly would want to do is build a community center. In other places, they would want to do other things. We could aid, I don't know if Bishop Taylor is still here. Here he is. But jobs, they have a program. He's been working on this for a long time. That has placed over 200 people in jobs this year. That gives people a sense that they can have a bright future. You know what the word is here? Hope. If you don't have hope, you turn into violence. If you have hope, you're going to turn to something constructive. We're also, as I told Ms. Coder and our representatives from the public housing developments, we're fighting hard to get $40 billion so every one of these developments can be made tip-top. In the 70s, When you got a place in public housing here at Astoria Houses, everyone said, great, you got a nice, great place to live. But because of 50 years of public disinvestment, federal, state, and local, you can hardly live here now, and you pay a ton of rent.
That's right.
We would get money to, and the same model that Kay has talked about, what we're saying is we're going to let the communities decide the best way these projects, these developments can be redone, and we're going to try to employ 40% of the new jobs that come to redo these is going to come from the developments themselves. So this theme of community empowerment and us providing the resources and then the community deciding how to spend it, people don't understand. This is the best. The recidivism rate when these programs are in effect goes way down. This is the most exciting thing that's happened in the area of reducing violence that I have come across in decades. So I'm excited about it. I'm committed to getting the dollars. Now we got some trouble. You ever heard of these people, Mansion Cinema? They're trying to cut things back, but I'm going to use my clout to make sure this isn't cut back.
Excellent.
I want to thank our Senator Gianaris, our two council members elect, Caban and Wong, for being here and supporting this effort, because it's going to take all three levels of government to make this work. And we have our state senator, Gianaris, from the state level. We have two of the most dynamic new council members, to-be council members, and then you got some guy named Chuck. So together we'll all try to get this done. I believe in you. I believe in you. I'm going to fight for you. This is a beautiful, inspiring model, and it takes a young person who hasn't had much and says, you have worth. We're not just going to patrol you. We're going to give you opportunity and hope.
Right. That's right.
So I love it.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. What? Sorry. What am I supposed to do?
It's okay.
Acknowledge. Okay. Yeah, we want to acknowledge the people here. Okay. I mean, acknowledge the elected officials: Tiffany Caban, Julie Wan, Michael Gianaris, Donovan Richards not here. Kay Bain, who we've mentioned, he started this whole movement. You know, the city council does give some money for this because of him and Jamani Williams, who you worked for,
yes, sir,
as I recall.
Yep.
And we've done little events like this. We did one in the Bronx. I just yesterday, 2 days ago, was in Southeast Queens, done them in Brooklyn. This is, it's grassroots excitement spreading up from the people up.
That's right.
Not from the top down. That's what's so exciting about it. Anyway, then we have our great Bishop Mitchell Taylor, who's been at this and has been doing great work here
This makes it
for 20 years, more than 20, many years. We have our wonderful, you know, we have these leaders of our housing developments who are selfless. And everyone, when they walk into their building, right here on the sidewalks, everyone's going to come complain to them. It's not an easy job. Is that right, Ms. Koger? I know. But they persist, and they try to do whatever they can to help. And in the same way we're going to help with CVI, we're going to help with public housing. I made a commitment to do that, and we're fighting. A lot of people say no money for housing in this bill. I say, and I won't use the word I would use for Brooklyn, but I say no way. There'd be a middle word in there that I can't say because you're a God-fearing person.
That's right.
Okay. We also have CCD's team of violence interrupters. Raise your hands, CCD folks. Thank you. And we have some names here. Rosalind Mason.
Right here.
Rosalind, there you are. We have Mike Perry. Thank you, Mike. We have Saida Dunstan. Where's Saida? And we have, well, it says A.T. Mitchell. That's not. We got two Mitchells. We got a 1-2 punch in Mitchell.
It's just to say cool as well.
What?
I used to say cool.
Thank you.
Street corner
Thank you.
resources.
Yes, from all. I know. We know each other. Okay, so we're going to get this done, and you're going to see America, New York. You're going to see real change in reducing violence in an appropriate way that values human beings as true resources and gives them a path away from violence. Thank you.
Thank you, Chuck.
No, all right. So we just heard from our U.S. Senator. It is also a pleasure to introduce Senator Mike Gianaris, who covers this area. And I just want to preface it by saying, like, this is a moment. we're struggling, but also we have a moment of opportunity here because we have control at the federal level, but we've also worked very hard, and our senator has been a large part of that, in making sure that we have a super majority at the state level so we can hold people's feet to the fire and keep demanding the things that our community needs. So,
Mike.
Thank you. Thank you. Good afternoon. It is always an honor to be standing with great leaders in our community, most notably Ms. Koger, who we love, is the queen of our community out here, is part of Queens, and all these great elected leaders. And you've heard a lot about community-based solutions. That's what makes this unique and different. For too long, people have been trying to dictate to members of the community what is best for them, when they have known all along how to resolve these problems. And what we have now is a real grassroots effort. And K-Bain and the folks at Community Capacity Development are doing such great work in this regard. They have been at it a while, but they are growing, and they are growing very quickly across this city. I have been fortunate through our work in the Senate to have funded some of their efforts in Queensbridge and here in Western Queens. And I can tell you, when we say they know what's going on in the community, together with Urban Upbound and Bishop Taylor and all the folks who are from here, they know what is going on in this community. I have knocked doors in these developments with them, with HAMO, with the members of CCD. And it's a very different experience when you go to a community board meeting and certain people show up, or when you meet someone at their home and they open their door for you and they tell you the problems they're having and how they should be solved. And that's what this funding is meant to do. We're doing our best at the state level to keep money flowing. Our new city council members are going to be very exciting, dynamic members of city government. Tiffany and Julie are going to be great. And of course, Chuck Schumer, leading not just in New York, but around the country, is going to get it done at the federal level as well. Last word about our majority leader in Congress is he has never forgotten where he has come from. He's a big deal, right? He's leading the U.S. Senate for the entire country.
BFD, they say.
But I can tell you, on more than one occasion, I've been out on the weekend, and some random guy's riding his bike down the street, and he says, "Hey, Senator," and I turn around, it's Chuck Schumer riding his bike through the streets of New York City, because that's how he keeps in touch with what's going on here. And he's terrific for being here. We thank you,
Michael.
Chuck.
Appreciate
And
it very
thank
much.
everyone else for being a part of this.
So now I have the awkward pleasure of introducing myself again to share a few words.